Hello and welcome to another video on this channel. We have already said it. The DV 2022 program is in its final days of interview scheduling, which means that there are only very few cases still left to be scheduled for interview in the program. But while the final cases are being scheduled, the latest statistics suggest a couple of things that I would like to bring to your attention. That is what I will be covering in today's discussion. Let's begin. Welcome back to this discussion. Let us begin by being reminded that there are a total of 54,850 diversity visas that are available in the DV 2022 program. The last time I said we were pretty close to reaching that number. So what we are going to do now is to carry out some calculations, and then based on that we will be able to say what the possibilities are in the DV 2022 program. A total of 33,217 diversity visas have already been issued in the DV 2022 program, as you can see on the screen. And then there are 27,797 applicants ready for interview. And in addition to that, there are 41 cases currently in transit from KCC to various embassies and consulates. If we should consider that there are about 2 applicants on each case in the DV 2022 program, that makes 82 applicants to be in the cases that are in transit. When we add that to those who are ready for interview, that brings us to 27,879. Usually around 20% of those who should be interviewed end up not receiving visas for different reasons. Some of them don't turn out at their interviews. Others are put on administrative processing at the end of their interviews, and others obviously get refused their visas. Now, in these calculations, I'm going to use 21%. So if we should take 21% from those who are still to be interviewed according to these statistics and add what is left to those who have already been issued visas, we can see that these statistics put final visa issuance in the DV 2022 program in excess of 55,000. So with this reality, what are the possibilities in the DV 2022 program? The first possibility is what the current statistics are suggesting. That is having more than 55,000 visas issued to applicants of the DV 2022 program. But that is the most unlikely scenario because the 55,000 or say 54,850 visas have been established by law, and that is not going to change with the DV 2022 program. So we can rule out that first possibility. Ruling out that first possibility means that what the current statistics are suggesting has to return to the 54,850. Now, how is that expected to happen? 2 possibilities. The first possibility in this case is having a higher rate of cases put on administrative processing or refused visas. That would be one way of getting the current statistics back down to 54,850. So if you have your interview coming up in the DV 2022 program, make sure that you are fully prepared for that interview, because the normal consideration that is given to applicants at their interview may not be given you, because the reality is that The applicants that are yet to be interviewed are far more than the visas that are still remaining in the DV 2022 program. The second possibility is having some of the interviews that have already been scheduled cancelled. In case there are normal levels of administrative processing and refusal when it comes to the cases that are yet to be interviewed, it means that the 54,850 visas will run out before all of the interviews are conducted. And in that case, applicants whose interviews are not conducted by that time will become like other applicants who entered the lottery and were selected, who submitted their DS-260, but who were not scheduled for interview. It is true that the deadline for the program is September 30th, 2022, which is the end of the fiscal year. But in case the 54,850 visas run out before that deadline, that will mark the end of the DV 2022 program. Now, who are those concerned by this final scenario? The first group are those who have their interviews scheduled for the latter part of September. In case visas run out before we get to the latter part of September, it means that those who have their interviews scheduled toward the end of September will have those interviews cancelled and they will have no further claim. This is a caution to you in case your interview is still far. You are not safe yet until you have your visa in your hand. Now, let me touch on two groups before we end. Firstly, those whose cases have been on administrative processing for some time now. Usually, in the month of September, cases that have been on administrative processing are reconsidered and decided. But that usually happens because the total issuance at that time falls far below the number of visas that are available for the program. But this year, as we have just seen, the situation is different. And so if you are currently on administrative processing, there is not much hope of your case being reconsidered during the month of September. And finally, those who have been insisting on requesting transfers. This discussion should make you to understand that it is quite risky for you to request transfer at this time. Transfer is a process. It usually puts your interview at a later date. So, in case you choose an embassy that puts your interview toward the latter part of the month of September and the number of visas that are available for the program runs out, it means that you will also be affected like those other applicants that I spoke about earlier. And so my advice to you is to do all in your power to attend your interview at the current location on the date that is specified in your interview notification. Any attempt on your part to postpone your interview by way of transfer or by any other means may result in an unpleasant situation. Now, I'm not saying all of this to instill fear in you, but I believe it is my responsibility on this channel to acquaint you with the prevailing situation in order to have you on the safe side. And so that is about all we have in today's discussion. Thanks for watching the video. And as things unfold, I will be around, God willing, to provide you with relevant information. Until then, goodbye.